All right, welcome back to another video. This is on solving simple equations, and we are also going to be solving multi-step equations. So we're going to be doing two sections in this video. So I apologize, I did not put a spot to write your unit, so just write 8th unit 1.1 at the top. And our learning intentions are to write and solve one-step equations. So we'll know that you're successful with this when you can apply properties of equality to produce equivalent equations, when you can solve equations using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and you can use equations to model and solve real-life problems. So this all should look very familiar to you because we learned all of this at the beginning of 7th grade. So this was a big part. This was actually the unit 1 of the 7th grade book. And so this is just recapping all of those skills of the things that we've already learned. So if you aren't feeling comfortable with these success criteria here, I really want you to dig into this lesson, maybe see if there's some gaps that you didn't recall from before or something you were missing. That's going to help you to be successful moving forward, because as we know, math just builds on itself. So the things we learned in the unit 1 of the 7th grade book, we were continuously using those and building on those with the new skills that we were learning. So when we miss something, it makes it very challenging for us to really grasp new concepts. So let's try our best. If there was something that you were not understanding when we did it with the 7th grade book, let's see if we can get that figured out for you today. So recapping our skills, the goal is to get the variable by itself, meaning that we're isolating the variable. Okay, so we're going to use inverse operations, and reminder, that means operations that undo each other. So when we look down here, which operations pictured below undo each other? So I know that if I have addition, the only way to get rid of it, which means to get it to 0, is to subtract. And if I have subtraction, the only way to get rid of it is to add whatever that number is, right? And with multiplication, to get it to 0, I would have to divide that number. And if I'm dividing already, to get that to 0, I would have to multiply that number. So here is a little note for you. Always keep each side balanced. What you do to one side of the equal sign must be done to the other side. So here's just a quick reminder of what we have to make sure that we're doing when we're solving with addition and subtraction, and when we're solving with multiplication and division. So if it's addition and subtraction, you have to eliminate the constant term by adding or subtracting. Remember, the constant term is the number that is not attached to a variable. And if you're wondering what a variable is, I hope you're not, but if you are, that's okay. Remember, the variable is the letter that we put in place of the unknown number. So if we're still trying to figure out what is this number, we don't know what it is, we put in a variable or a different letter. Okay, so if I'm solving with multiplication and division, I need to eliminate the coefficient of the variable by multiplying or dividing. So the coefficient, and remember, that's the number that's attached to the variable. So if I had like 5x or 3.
Good morning, DMS staff. There is a Tier 1
Y.
PBIS meeting in the library. There is a Tier 1 PBIS meeting in the library. Thank you.
Sorry for the video. Okay. All right, so you're going to do the try it section here at the bottom. This one is adding or subtracting. So remember, you're going to use inverse operations, eliminate your constant term. Here's multiplying and dividing. You need to get rid of the coefficient. This looks crazy, right? You might be looking at this and going, what is happening to this? Don't let the pi symbol confuse you. Remember, pi means 3.14, so it is a coefficient, right? To get x by itself, I need to eliminate pi from both sides. So this is multiplication. What is the inverse operation of multiplication? So figure that out and try those problems and then move on to the next side. Okie doke. So solving multi-step equations, please write 8th unit 1.2 up at the top. And our learning intentions is to write and solve multi-step equations You will know you're successful with that when you can apply properties to produce equivalent equations, when you can solve multi-step equations, and when you can use multi-step equations to model and solve real-life problems. Again, this is all things that we have been working on. So this is really just a recap of skills that we learned in the 7th grade book. So what we need to know, when variables are already on one side of the equation, first we need to simplify each side of the equation by combining like terms, or applying the distributive property. The second step is that you're going to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. Remember, those are operations that undo each other. And then we are going to check our work using substitution. So let's look at a couple of these. So this is combining like terms. So the first thing I'm going to do is combine my like terms. 8x and 6x are like terms. 8x minus 6x is 2x minus 25 equals negative 35. Then I'm going to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. This is a negative, so I'm going to add 25 because negative 25 plus 25 is 0, leaving me with just 2x on this side. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other side. So I'm going to add that. So negative 35 plus 25 is negative 10. But I'm not done. I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. So x equals negative 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5. And if I want to check with using substitution, I'm going to just jump up here and put my negative 5 here with my 2x because I've already combined my like terms. So negative 10 minus 25, if I'm subtracting a negative, if I'm already at negative 10 on my number line, and I subtract 25, I'm going to keep going down on my number line, which means it would be negative 10 minus 25, which is negative 35, which is the number on the other side. So I know that my answer is correct. So this one's distributive property. Remember, we take the number on the outside of the parentheses and multiply it to everything on the inside. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x plus 4 equals negative 8. So now I actually have to combine my like terms. So I'm going to take 2 plus 4, which is 6 minus 10x equals negative 8. Subtract 6 from both sides. I have negative 10x. Again, if I'm at negative 8 on the number line and I subtract 6, I'm going to keep going down in my number, right? So then my answer is going to be negative 14. I'm not done. I need to get rid of the coefficient, so I'm going to divide by 10 to get x by itself. And my answer will be x equals 1.4 because there's two negatives. Two negatives make a positive, right? It's either going to be 1.4 or you might have written it as a fraction as 1 2/5. I can take 1.4, put that in for x, and then solve. And if I don't get negative 8, I know I've done something wrong. So you're going to try that here at the bottom at the try it section, and then come let me know if you still have any questions. If you have questions on either side of this, I really want to talk to you because I want to make sure that you're understanding everything before we move forward. All right, talk to you later.